Okay, so I think we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks everyone for joining. We're here today for an info session for the Master of Management in Artificial Intelligence program at Smith School of Business, Queen's University. The topic of this info session will be a bit specialized. We'll be talking about transitioning into a career in AI. And we're joined by a great group of panelists who include some of our alumni who come from more non-technical backgrounds and who joined our program, the Masters of Artificial Intelligence, which can be quite technical. So they're going to give you some of their perspective and how they kind of came into the program and what they got out of it. So I'll give you an introduction to them in a few moments and let them kind of give you the most value out of this webinar with their answers, but I do want to briefly introduce the program to you as well. So to start off, that's kind of the agenda for today. So why was this program, MMAI, created? Artificial Intelligence Master's Program. So we found an opportunity from our faculty, from our alumni board, from our alumni and our advisory board, where they found that there was really a lack in the industry of people who were translators of AI and business. So managers who kind of knew the technical aspects of the AI, but who also were really capable in management and people skills and things like that. So this program came together from recommendations from our faculty, alumni, and advisory board to really create that bridge. And so the great thing about AI is that it's something that you can kind of add to your career, no matter where you come from, what your background is, or what industry you're looking to get into. So I think with our panel coming up, you'll really get to see a few different perspectives of how AI can be used in different industries and depending on what your background knowledge is. So the program's out of Smith School of Business, Queen's University, because it is a business program. It's partly like an MBA master's program, but it incorporates that data science, computer science, AI as well. We have our Smith School of Business campus in Kingston, Ontario. So there's a picture there on the left side of Goods Hall. And we have 2 residential sessions typically in our program in Kingston, in person, where you really get to kind of immerse with your classmates in courses, in networking activities, in some other fun activities. So we usually start and end the program with residential sessions in Kingston. But that being said, the majority of classes take place in person in our Smith Toronto facility, which is right downtown Toronto. It's about 5 minutes from Union Station, which is the main train station in Toronto. So really easy to get to. And this is an actual picture of the facility here. This is the view of the CN Tower. It's a really great location. And so our classes typically take place on Tuesday evenings, 5:30 to 9:30, and alternative Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. in our Smith Toronto facility there. And the program is a professional master's program. It's 1 year. So it typically starts in August and ends in August. And more details about the curriculum and schedule and things like that are available on our program website. A few special things about our program that I think the alumni may discuss as well. So it is a team-based program where you will work in a team of about 6 to 8 people for the duration of the program. Why we do this is because it really does kind of reflect what the workplace is doing, where you'll work in different teams that you're assigned to. They can be very diverse teams, and you get to learn those skills, which can be very helpful in management positions, leadership positions, things like that. You also will get to work with a dedicated team coach throughout that process, who will help you as any team issues arise. And because it is a team-based program, about 50% of the deliverables will be team-based and about 50% will be individual. Then moving on to our curriculum. It is a curriculum that kind of mixes theory and application. So you will learn the theory behind some concepts, but then you will go into kind of applying that knowledge in things like a capstone project or certain projects where you may work with industry partners or create business propositions or things like that. So an overview of our curriculum, you can see we do have a balance here of technical courses like deep learning, reinforcement learning, natural language processing, math for AI, things like that. And balance it out with more management-based courses like AI innovation and entrepreneurship, introduction to management, AI strategy and change. And that being said, most of the technical courses will have some business component to them as well, and vice versa. And it all kind of ends off with a capstone project, which you complete nearing the end of the program, which kind of brings together all the skills that you learn and the different things that you learn in applying in a real world project where you work with a different industry partner within a team to kind of help solve their business problem. And like I mentioned, we have a great advisory board. This is just a snapshot of some of the people on our advisory board, but they really helped shape the curriculum. They helped drive the purpose of the program, and they use feedback from their companies, from alumni and things like that to help shape the curriculum of the program. As well, while you're a student, you have access to our Career Advancement Center. So they're there for you to help with your career journey throughout the program and beyond. So you have access to different resources, such as their online resources for resumes, cover letters, conducting coffee chats, things like that. But then they'll also have in-person tutorials on those types of topics. They'll have networking events that you can attend throughout the year, job postings available to you, as well as one-on-one coaching with one of our career coaches, who you can book an appointment with throughout your time in the program. And finally, you'll also have access to a really powerful alumni network. So I wanted to highlight this because we have 4 of them, I believe, here today. So we have a great alumni network of MMAI alumni. We started off the program in 2018. Our first graduating class was the class of 2019. So we have a great group of alumni that you will have access to even beyond MMAI. Within Smith, it's a great community of over 180,000. So a few of the program details. So here's an overview of the fees. These are updated on our website. Fees will include your tuition, your textbooks, and other learning materials, and any software during the program, as well as meals and accommodations during our Kingston residential sessions. There are options for financing as well. So those are listed on our website. There's some scholarship opportunities. We have a line of credit with RBC that you can look into as well, or your RRSP lifelong learning plan. So definitely check out our website for more information on financing. And in terms of admission criteria, we generally ask for an undergraduate degree from a recognized university, preferably in mathematics, business, computer science, subjects like that, but at least including at least one mathematics or statistics course or computer science course. As well, we typically ask for 2 years of relevant work experience, but that being said, exceptional applicants will be considered. So please apply even if you don't believe you have 2 years of relevant work experience. GMAT score is not required. That being said, it may be asked for to strengthen your application, but while working with an application advisor, but is not a requirement for applying for the program. And we generally recommend some exposure to programming languages. In particular, Python is used quite a bit within the program, but either R or Python. This isn't mandatory because we will assign you typically prep courses in Python prior to coming into the program. but just something that can be helpful because it is used quite a bit. And so to apply, if you visit our website here, you can start your preliminary assessment. That will put your information in. You'll require to submit a resume and a cover letter and unofficial transcripts. You'll be in touch with our application advisor, Jennifer Mayer, and she can help you out throughout the application process to help strengthen your application. Generally, interviews are scheduled within about 2 weeks after that. So yeah, please check out our website. You'll get in touch with us, and we're happy to help you through the process. So that's okay. I have a question here, but it's a bit specific. I'll answer in a moment. I did want to mention, as we get into the panel, you can type questions into the Q&A, and our alumni, we can answer those questions. So please feel free to do that. We will try and save some time at the end for questions as well. But yeah, I did want to kind of wrap it up from my end now and pass it over to our alumni panel, which I think will be very helpful in showing how you can come into this program without necessarily having a technical background and come out with some AI skills and kind of transition your career that way. So without further ado, I wanted to take a moment to introduce everyone. So first, I want to introduce our moderator for the panel discussion, who is our current class president, Manjunath Srinath. So if you can wave. Thank you. We also have a great panel of our alumni, and they're gonna tell you some more details about themselves in a few moments, but I'll just give you a quick introduction. So from the class of 2021, we have Umar Khan and Hafiza Umair. Do you both want to wave? Thank you. And then from the class of 2022, who just graduated in October of this year, we have Michael Onura and Emmanuel Taki. So if you can both wave. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. So yeah, I'll pass things over to Manjunath. Like I said, feel free to type any questions you have in the chat, and I'll stick around as well. And over to you.
Thank you very much, Bridget. Hello, everyone. I am Manjunath, and I'm the current student president of MMAI 2023 cohort. And I'm so happy to see all of you here. And thank you so much for being here. And also, I would like to thank the panelists to be part of this amazing panel discussion. There are a set of questions that I've created, which is going to be a little long, so please be prepared. Thank you so much for being here, all of you. So let me just start off by asking the very first question, which is, could each of you take a moment to tell us a little more about your career path and an overview of your current role? If Afiza, would you mind going first?
Sure. So hi everyone, I'm Hafiza, and as you can see, I'm an MMAI 2021 graduate. So I come from a business background. I had an MBA before MMAI, and right now I'm working as a IT project manager for WSIB, which is Workplace Safety and Insurance Board. And then right now my role is about managing technical projects. So I'm basically managing a program which has many different projects ranging from software currency upgrades to automation. And the biggest project, I guess, that we're working on is to implement cloud solutions using Microsoft Azure. So yeah, I could go on and on, but I'll pass it on to, I think, Umar next.
Thank you, Hafiza, and it's always nice to see you again. My name is Omar Khan. I'm also from the class of MMAI 2021, and my career pathway has been a bit unique in that sense that I started off my undergrad in economics, maths, and philosophy, but then I moved more towards the tech startup world, more towards focusing on creating my own startups. So I ran a digital creative agency for 5-6 years, where my primarily focus was product development, project management. Felt the right moment to pivot towards AI, and MMAI was an amazing option for me when I was making that choice. Right, currently I work at Vector Institute. It's an AI research institute, and my current position over there is AI project management under the industry innovation team. We primarily focus on creating educational programs for our sponsor companies that are pretty much all the major financials, consulting and tech companies in the Ontario landscape, and we teach them the latest advancements, tools, techniques in AI.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Omar. Michael, would you mind going in next?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So my background was completely skewed. I had a bachelor's in geography. And my first job was uploading maps to a GIS, Geographic Information Systems database that was running on Oracle. Post that project, I started working with data a lot. But in 2020, I decided I was going to transition into working with engineering and engineering data. In the course of a project that I was on, a client had a requirement. They had data that was sitting in a warehouse, and compliance requirements did not want them to take the data out of the system. So we had to find a way to use an artificial intelligence model without taking out the data. And post that project, I just knew that I had to be in an artificial intelligence class. So that's how Smith found me, or that's how I found Smith. So that's a little bit about my career and my current role.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Michael. Emmanuel, will you go?
Can you hear me fine?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
All right, nice. So yeah, my name's Emmanuel. In terms of how I got to the MMAI program, it was a pretty interesting pathway. So I came from a business and IT background, and from there I tried to get some technical roles as a developer or a software engineer. Most people told me I wasn't technical enough, so I ended up going into IT consulting for nonprofits and churches for several years. And then from there, I think it was about 2019, I started to feel like I wanted to do something more technical than what I was doing. So I looked at a few things. It was between cybersecurity and data science. So I ended up choosing data science, enrolled in some boot camps, did courses online, et cetera, et cetera. Then eventually I found the MMAI program at Smith. And then from there, I was able to get an internship at Canadian Tire as a data science analyst. And not too long afterward, they offered me a full-time role as a data scientist. So currently I work on recommendation systems and just adding various features to the recommendation system to for the offers that are given to the customers at Canadian Tire for loyalty customers. So.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Now, my second question would be, what drew you to this career area and how did you break in or transition into this field? I would like Emmanuel to start this time.
Well, I guess, how did I transition? So I'd say it was more so just the desire to make a pivot. Because I did see myself as someone who could be technical, even though some employers did not consider me that. So after putting in some work on my own time, and then also getting enrolled into the MMAI program, that made it more feasible and possible to. And I think one of the things that really helped me transition was the internship I received during the MMAI program. So fun fact, I actually got that through the CAC portal. So if you guys do enroll, I strongly recommend to use that, as it's a great e-resource. And yeah, that was pretty much how the rest was pretty much history. Got the internship, performed well, then got the full-time role, and that's how I was able to transition. So.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Michael, would you go next?
Oh, yeah, sure. So my background is more consulting. So I have consulted for a lot of organizations, specifically in financial services and oil and gas. I currently I'm currently on a project where I am architecting an advanced analytics and AI systems. And I would say this, AI and analytics only just do one thing: help an organization to gain competitive advantage. So how does an organization gain or get competitive advantage? That's the question that everyone in the room has to answer. And that's one of the things that really attracted me to AI. I already spoke about the project that I worked with a large energy company in the United States. They had data in a warehouse. They wanted to get value out of that data. And all we basically did was work on the system, pull out the data, and give the value that helped the business to attain the value they require. So as you come into the program, I think the key question you should keep asking yourself from when you start the program, while you're on the program, is how do I take the skills that I've gotten and give back value? Because that's what you'll be paid for. And that's really how I broke into the career of AI. I'll just add this. I'm currently working on a project with certain teams in Silicon Valley, and it's tied to just taking data and passing it through a model and getting out the value. That's really what everyone that wants to break into a career in AI should keep at the back of their minds. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. Umar, would you go next?
Sure. So in terms of what drew me to a career in AI was primarily looking at trends. Working in a digital creative agency, we tend to work with startups. We tend to see where could you make the most money, if I have to be more frank. And you realize that those margins over the span of time have been decreasing because intelligent automation is pretty much taking over. You look at Square, you look at WordPress, you look at Shopify, they are creating systems, centralized systems that pretty much can cater to all those needs that at one point you would need people and you would be paying a lot of money. And that's what I realized, AI tends to be the future, where if you want to, ride the wave, you have to make good early career decisions and pivot your career. In my case, I was lucky enough that I had some coding background, but basic front-end coding background in terms of app development or web development. But then again, I knew that if I want to create an AI-based product in the near future, I want to know more about this technology. I want to know more about the dynamics. Similar to what was said before, in consulting, you might not be coding all the way through, but you need to know the ins and outs of the technology to be able to guide people better. That was the main reason why I shifted towards AI. And for me to transition into the job that I was in, obviously I had some product development, project management experience to back me up, but I feel it was the AI translator role that really distinguishes people that, and I would say MMAI does an amazing job, because within our company, there were so many MMAI grads from Queens that were coming in, because we perfectly fit the profile of those AI translators that can learn enough about the technical side and translate it to this big population of non-technical people who are the decision makers. So I think that's where, we get this advantage of being in that position, which I would consider the best of both worlds.
Thank you so much, Umar. And Afiza?
Yeah, so when I started when I moved towards AI, it wasn't planned. So one of my coworkers was very impressed by my analytical skills, and he was like, you know what, we should do data science certificate together. And I didn't want to at first, but he somehow convinced me. And then when I was doing my data science certificate, he actually dropped out after that. So my last course was machine learning. And I was really fascinated by, all the work we were doing in machine learning. And then I decided to continue and then convert this into a full-time degree. So that's how I came into the AI field. But in terms of work, so previously I was working with the cybersecurity department in my organization. And after I completed MMAI, there were discussions. People could see me talking in team meetings about, AIs. Even I was joking. Whenever, you have to share a joke or something, it would be about AI. And then somehow I got visibility, and then, started discussing with senior managers on the other side. And then they said, if you're so passionate, and then we just found out if I had the right knowledge, and then I transferred to a different department. And to Umar's point again, so about it being an AI translator. So because I come from a business background, I have project management skills, and I also have the technical knowledge now. The team actually is progressing much better than before, because they see that, usually PMs would just talk about high level stuff, they won't go deep into the technical information. With me, it's been very easy to get, technical details, and the team is comfortable sharing everything because they know the other person is understanding what they're saying. So I can proactively solve their problems even before they arise. So that's definitely giving me a boost here, and I'm really enjoying it.
Awesome. Oh, thank you so much, Afisa. Okay. My next question for all of you would be, so how did you handle the fact that you come from a non-technical background, and what is it that you had to do to make sure you get the most out of this program? Michael, would you start off this time?
Sorry, for that question, there are two sides to it. But I'd love for you to just take it again so that I'm sure that I don't miss out any details.
Sure. I'll just repeat the question again. So how did you handle the fact that you come from a non-technical background, and what is it that you had to do to make sure you get the most out of this program?
Okay. So like I said, my bachelor's was in geography, and I came into working with data. But then when I came into the AI space, there was quite a lot to handle. But I leveraged what I call a multimodal learning approach. So for every concept that is really very difficult for me, I begin by watching concept videos on YouTube. After I've watched those concept videos, at least it gives me an idea of how to proceed. And then I layer on by reading textbooks. And then, of course, if it's not clear, I'll probably go to maybe Udemy or Udacity. So that's how I was able to make the most of the program. I didn't, in fact, matter of fact, I had a timetable or a structure that I created. I said classes were going to run for 16 hours. I would have to study for 32 hours. So I used a lot of my weekend free times to study. But what I would always say, I'm so sorry, I learned to pick up my kids. But I'll give an example where when we were doing deep learning, I struggled maybe in the first 1 or 2 classes. And then I started watching YouTube videos, tried to understand the concept. And then I stumbled on an Udacity course on deep learning. And by the 3rd class, I was home and dry. I was able to join in and things got going. So I would say that what I would share here is for everyone and anyone who's here, never stop learning. I think that the mantra for all of us in the AI professional or in the AI field is that we must keep learning. We must never stop learning. We must be lifelong learning professionals or experts, if you want to call that anything, because that's the only way that we'll be able to stay on cutting edge. Technology keeps changing. Thank you. I don't know if that shed some light.
It did, sure. Thank you so much, Michael. Omar, would you go next?
Sure, I can go next. So in terms of how was I able to handle the fact that I came from a non-technical background? I guess there are 2 elements to it. So the one, when you go into these programs and you're handling something technical, there's something that's more conceptual, where your critical thinking skills are required, and there's something that's more motor. And what I mean by motor skills is that you have to practice coding to make it easy for you. So I feel like having the ability, even though Python and R are recommended to do early, for someone with a background, I would always recommend practice, even if it's small tasks. And the good thing is, obviously, the amazing thing about the MMAI program is that we do get Udemy. I don't know if it's okay. So we get a year-old subscription to Udemy, so you have the opportunity to practice those motor skills. I started in early, even before the program started. I just wanted to learn more about Python because when I did my econ and math undergrad, at that point, eViews, MATLAB, and Stata were the common softwares that we were using. So I was a bit oblivious to what Python as a language was, other than hearing it within my industry that it was being used for backend purposes as well. So like, that was definitely one of the things, prepare a little bit in advance, and you don't need to do everything out. Like, even if you spend a day, like, an hour a day, or maybe on the weekend to learn something new, and that becomes a motor skill later on. Obviously, MMAI does a great job in making sure that you're able to learn them to begin with. But if you have to get the best out of it, I would say the early movers advantage allows you to, so let's say if person A is doing something in 10 hours, you can do the same thing in 1 hour. So you have more time to spend in further honing your other skills. Plus, the other thing that a lot of people don't realize is that half of it is a management program as well. So even if you don't have a lot of technical skills, the fact that you are in a team that is a combination of people with different set of skills, like you learn from them. Sometimes you might take a back position where you're learning from them in terms of a technical project, but on other times you can take a lead because you have a lot of knowledge on that field or topic as well. uh yeah, I guess that was the second part. Was I able to answer the second part?
Yeah. Yes. How did you get more? Make sure you got most out of the program. So yeah,
Yeah, so having good team chemistry, I feel like asking people questions, like, don't be ashamed. Everyone in that team is there for a reason. So like, if you have a good skill, I'm pretty sure that will come in handy somewhere around, and be nice enough to leverage that and be helpful to students. But on the other side, ask them questions. Like, I've learned so much from my teammates, got stuck on so many assignments, and wanted to get their opinion that how were they tackling a certain issue that I wasn't able to figure out.
thank you so much, Umar. Hafiza?
So coming from a non-technical background, I think, yeah, the biggest thing for me was to understand coding, practice coding in Python. So there are additional workshops that you will be able to attend besides the regular MMAI courses, which will include like Python, SQL, R, and so like, it's not just like, sometimes people think like when you're watching a video, you have a question, you cannot ask the question and get an answer right away. But with the additional workshops, you can talk to the professor and solve your issues or whatever. So I guess for me, to make most out of the MMAI program was the learning through additional workshops and the resources. And not only from the program, also some of our classmates would share amazing resources to overcome the challenges we are having because of coming from a non-technical background. So those were very helpful as well.
Thank you so much, Hafiza. And Emmanuel?
I would say so. In my experience, what really helped me bridge the gap from I guess my lack of experience in technical aspects was a lot of the supplemental material that I engaged in. So like I would say I did a lot of coursework, online coursework on Udemy. There's a ton of them. I know there's the one from Andrew Ng that everybody recommends. And then there's one that I did by Jose Portilla, sorry. And I think it's the data science bootcamp course. That one I feel like is, if you're able to get that done before you start the MMAI program, you'll be fine. So that would be my recommendation. Just get as much material, do as much preparation, self-preparation, self-learning, because as Michael said, it's you have to have an attitude of just being a lifelong learner, and that's pivotal to being, or that's imperative to being successful in MMAI and just the AI field in general. So, and I guess the second part of the question was
how do you get most out of the program?
Oh, how do I get the most? Okay,
Yeah.
so for that, I think one of the things that really helped me a lot was the office hours. Just having that access to the professors and being able to ask unlimited questions within that finite period of time, I felt like was really helpful, because you're allowed to go more in depth into certain concepts and ideas you may have that you can't really talk about within a lecture. And so those I feel like are really helpful, because it can help you understand the material even better. So that would be my recommendation in regards to that. So
thank you so much, Emmanuel. So let's dig a little more deeper into the program. So I just want to know, what was your favorite thing about this MMAI course? So I would like Umar to start off this time.
Yeah, sure. And I guess I alluded to it in the like in my previous comment as well. For me, the team environment was the best part. Like, you know, the way our teams have been designed and the way we do these projects, because by the end of the day, like, you know, no matter which program you go to, like that knowledge gets dispersed to the students. Like, you know, it's up to you how you utilize it. I feel like having that second layer of being able to decrypt the information that's completely new and alien to you in many ways and sit together, study together. I felt like the way the study groups were set up were genius. That allowed me to open up, to learn. And again, you have to realize it's not a master's, like, you know, it's not an MSc in computer science or AI per se. It's a master of management in AI. And within management, there's so many soft skills that you're able to learn, understanding the team dynamics, how to lead, how to de-escalate situations. So, like, you know, all of those features, I feel like, especially in my line of work, it helped me a lot. Like, it helped me handle things within my team and prosper there as well. So it's not just the technical that you're getting, it's the managerial and other leadership skills that you're building up that go a long way for you in the corporate world.
Absolutely. And that's why they're called high-performing teams, where you get to learn from them and you also help them out. So amazing. Thank you. Emmanuel, would you mind going in next?
yeah, sure. So I guess my favorite thing would be so one of the things I really liked was the fact that it focused on I guess the business translator aspect, being able to understand things from the business side and translate that into technical terms or vice versa. I feel like that's very crucial in today's landscape, because not everybody can do that. There's a lot of people who are just good at programming and they're not really good at communicating to people who are non-programmers. And there's also people who are managers or in the management space who can't really break down their ideas to a very technical level. And so this program does a good job of welding those two areas together so that you can be very proficient in just the marketplace. And then I guess another thing that I really liked about the MMAI program was that so a lot of the like architectures and just concepts that you learn are actually pretty state-of-the-art. I didn't realize that until after I left the program and started talking to other data scientists and going to different conferences and start to realize that the stuff that other teams from other companies were presenting was like, I already learned most of that within the MMAI program. So I feel like that was a great thing to realize, and something I came to appreciate about the MMAI program after actually graduating. So
perfect. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Hafiza?
So I'd echo on what Umar and Emmanuel said. I really enjoyed the team aspect and also, you know, learning the translator side of things. But besides these, I also really enjoyed being part of the student executive committee. So I was the director of internal relations, and I absolutely enjoyed networking with the alumni, networking with other departments. And you know, if you're a shy person, then it's a very safe space where you can host events, connect with people, feel comfortable. So yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. And Michael?
Yeah, so I have three favorite things that I got from the program, and I hope I'm not giving it out as way too much information. I think the first one I would say is that Gary sets the stage for everyone to understand that analytics and AI is an integral part of every organization. If you want to make profits, you must look at your data, analyze it, and extract value. I can't say that enough. Gary made us love the program and look forward to all the other modules. Second thing I wanted to say, and the knowledge that we got from Gary's session is what I carry to every meeting. I architect a lot of solutions. And in the past, what I used to do is I just come in and I want to just go technical. Okay, let's build this, let's build this. But now I have changed my approach. I come into the meetings and the first question I ask is, how is this going to ensure that the business extracts more insight? Because it's about value. So that's the first thing that I got from the program. The second thing is the after-class Kahoot tests that Steve used to organize after machine learning classes. I always looked forward to it because it was a way of feedback for me. We're studying, we're going through a whole lot of materials, but after every class, if I score less than 7 out of 10 questions, or maybe 10 out of 50 questions, I know that, okay, Michael, you need to go back to reread this because you don't understand the concept. And during the program, I stumbled on a gentleman, I don't remember the name now, I think Feynman way of learning. And Feynman says, if you can't explain a concept to a 5-year-old, you haven't learned that concept. So I mean, I never told anyone in my class this, but every time we finished a module, I try to discuss it with my kids. I have a son who's 10 and my second son is 9. I actually taught them Python. So they are self-taught Python programmers. But the concept that I took away from the program is feedback. There should be a feedback loop. You take classes, you write a test. You take classes, you write a test. And that's what I gained from Steve's Kahoot test. I look forward to it. The last one, and I think is the most important, is this, the AI entrepreneurship pitch. Everyone who starts the MMAI program should keep this at the back of their minds. We are at the time where technology is going to change the world, and we are all going to be partakers. So we are like torch bearers in the AI space. Now the question is this: as you go through this program, just remember I said this, or recognize that someday you're going to come out of the MMAI program and you will think about starting up your own business. So the AI entrepreneurship class and the pitch sets that process in motion. So, I mean, there are lots of favorites, but these are my top 3 favorites, particularly the last one, because our educational system needs to begin to teach us not just to pass through programs and go be managers. We should also be owners. I mean, who says that the next MMAI class or any of our class programs cannot bring out the next Elon Musk or the next Bill Gates or the futuristic Ray Dalio in the area of AI, finance, and machine learning? And it begins with us. So, I mean, I don't want to overemphasize this, but this were my favorites of the program. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Michael. My next question would be, can you comment on the level of expertise shown by the teaching staff? I know Michael has already answered this for all of you, but I just want to give the others a chance as well now. So, Hafiza, would you like to start off?
Well, that's a difficult one. You'll have to experience it to know their level of expertise. Like, it's hard to describe. Like, anybody can say NC teachers were really great, but you don't know what is great until you hear from them. So all the different teachers in their own domain were amazing. I still remember our analytics professor, Gary, and it's Yuri and Gary for business. Steve, you're going to absolutely enjoy studying and learning with Steve. Ofer is so technical. So yeah, the list goes on and on. Like I could name every single professor who taught us, and they were amazing in their own subjects.
Thank you so much, Umar.
Yes, I would pretty much echo all that Hafiza said, because I feel every subject has their own domain expert, and that domain expert have their own way of teaching students. The ability, I feel like the multidimensionalism of this program allows you to take the best out. So for instance, there are different layers from which you can extract information. And I feel these professors when you reach out to them for a technical, not just a technical question, but how could, if you have a business idea that you want to implement, for instance, in the near future, they'll give you some really good tips in what things should you be looking at as you move forward. So for me, it wasn't just learning expertise, but it was also guidance and indirect mentorship that you could get from these professors. Everyone had their own unique teaching style. For me, Professor Steve was my all-time best professor. Like, that I loved working with him. He pushed us in a certain way, as like Michael pointed out, like with the Kegel tests. But like, he also gave exams that allowed you to question your own concepts and be able to do them. So I feel in general, like, the overall quality and caliber of all the professors that we received felt like they were the domain experts in their field. And the best you can get out of it is the more you interact with them. So one recommendation, if you do end up going for this program, studying, ask as many, like take advantage of this resource. Like, we go in the corporate world, and I've seen how much people like crave this ability to ask whatever question they could ask from a technical perspective with a domain expert. So, and they're paying money to us to do that. So right now, if you go in this program, you would have that opportunity. So make best use of it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Emmanuel.
Yeah, just to echo off of what everyone else is saying, everybody, like the professors are great. They're all experts in their own domains, and I mean, I think they're just good resources to learn from. And one of the things I really found great about them was that because there's some professors, like when you go to a master's program, they're kind of disconnected from like how the real world works because they're so focused on their research and things like that. But with a lot of the professors I found at the MMAI program, a lot of them have real tangible experience that's pretty impressive, and they're able to pull and draw from that to be able to inform students how the concepts they're teaching us apply into the real world. So I feel like the staff is really great. Each one of them has their specific expertise, but overall, it is a great learning experience to learn from these individuals.
Thank you so much, Manuel. And Michael, do you have anything more to add on to it? I think you're on mute.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that I think I already said it all, but what I'll just add, the expertise of, like Emmanuel said, each professor has his strengths. But I think that maybe more time should be, more office hours should be allocated so that, when students have issues, the professor should clear a lot of the doubts a lot more. Because the truth is, at the end of the day, you're going out into the real world, right? And the real world doesn't forgive you if you make a mistake. So it's safe for you to make mistakes while you're in the program. And like Emmanuel has said, everyone is a practitioner, not just the professors. You also are bringing your own skills to the table. So I think that maybe, I'll just say, maybe what we should see more is, maybe we should have more AI labs. So rather than just it being only classes, let some of the classes or let some of the modules be 100% labs. And so, like courses like machine learning, you just go from class to really going into the labs and do a lot of technical, coding, then bring out values, because that's really how the entrepreneurship layer would come out. So I don't want to overdwell on this, but yeah, I think everyone has already said more to this. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Michael. So this would be my final question for all the panelists here. I think you guys are excited for that. Okay. So yeah, so given the little background about Queen's attention to the business world and real life working environments, how did you find the teamwork and the team interactions during the assignments? And also, did the team aspect allow to form a deeper connection and elevate their own understanding? So this is my question. So can you just comment on that? So I would like Emmanuel to start off this time.
I would say that the team aspect really it really forced everybody to put on their managerial caps, because everybody has very different backgrounds, and so you basically have to assess the strengths and weaknesses of not just yourself but multiple individuals and find a way to just pull all of that together to create a desirable result. So I feel like it was really good. For those who might be more technical, this would be a great chance for you to gain some of that project experience. And for those who are already great with projects, you'll shine in something like this. So that I would say those are my thoughts on that.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Michael, would you go next?
So I would say that for me, I had a great team, because when we started, what my team and my team agreed was that we're going to leverage our strengths. So in my team, I was the final review of whatever we worked on, because I had been doing documents and drafting RFPs and RFIs. So we always used to take all our assignments like in response to a proposal, right? So I always made sure I proofread the documents, make all the necessary changes, make sure that all the references are in places, references are in place. So I would say to anyone and everyone, leverage the strengths of every member of your team. And that's what we did. As time went on, we decided to try another approach. And this is also important. I mean, don't stay stuck with one idea or one way of managing teams. So we started by saying, okay, everyone, let's leverage your strengths. You have AI skills. Okay, you handle the technical components. You have business skills. You handle the business component. But over time, we decided that we're going to get vulnerable, and we let everyone come out and we switched roles. It slowed down our assignment submission a little, right? But we were able to pick up things again. So teamwork is important. I think that besides teamwork, one thing that is really very important is this. Everyone's bringing something to the table. You just need to make sure that there's commitment from everyone. And I say this from a place where together everyone achieves more. That's the acronym for team. So make sure you leverage your team. Make sure even those who don't think that they can do it, push them. There was a lady in my team that said, oh, she doesn't think she would ever be able to learn Python. But just a few team sessions where someone just said to her, okay, this is why you have to declare a variable. And she even handled or managed the deep learning project, like from a technical angle. So everyone who comes into the skill, I mean, a way to illustrate this would be when you come into the program, you have 1 dot, but at the end of the program, you've gotten maybe 15, 20 more dots. And the size of the dots is determined by how much commitment you put into every project in every module. So if you want a little dot, you probably will just attend class and not get involved in the assessment. But if you want a larger than dot, then you want to make sure that you attend class, you ask questions, you attend the office hours. If there's something you don't understand, bring it to the team. When the team gets the assignments done, if you have any questions, ask the team, volunteer to present. I mean, if you do that in all 14 modules, you would have a very big dot coming out of the program, and you would obviously be very ready for whatever market is out there. I saw a question, someone said, what career paths? The career path for AI is endless. The most important thing is put yourself out there and work with your team. Thank you. I don't know if...
Thank you so much. I'm going to use that team acronym for sure. It's very good. Thank you so much, Michael. And Hafiza, would you go next?
Yeah, so for team, like it's a good experience. And it's different in some cases with the real world situation some of us face sometimes. So like like, for example, there's a team, like my team, usually as a project manager, I would just go in and, give a project plan to the team, and we follow a certain approach, right? So when I give a plan, everybody agrees to it and they start to work on it. Then there are teams where, everybody's equal. Like all of the team members are security specialists or data engineers, for example. So I was not exposed to this kind of like all the team members are equal environment, which I got exposed to here in the MMAI program. So, I'm used to just giving plans and people acting on it. So when I was here, like, you would have a solution, but what if 40 members are not agreeing to your solution, they have something else in mind? So I guess it was a very important skill to learn to like see different angles and sort of put your point forward and why you strongly believe in something or not. So these are all very good experiences that you can only experience here in certain team environments. So I like this a lot. Secondly, I think the support that we get from team members is amazing. It's a mix of technical and people not coming from a very strong technical background and different ages, and there's diversity, like in terms of your seniority level in your organization, in your careers and whatnot. So it was very nice to see how people with their strengths are supporting those team members who are weaker in certain areas. So that was really helpful for me.
Thank you so much. And Omar?
Sure, I think everyone has said such amazing things, and I've already alluded to, like, the idea or the importance of teamwork and having high performance teams. I feel like, when you're in the master's program, it's like a playground. You're understanding the norms of the corporate world. So like not everyone is a leader in that group. Like, you don't have a senior manager or a director over there, and you are bargaining power, not for the sake of yourself, but for the team at large. So learning that core skill, like sometimes you have to control your ego or your self-belief and belief on other people. I feel like these are such integral skills that should be taught in every program or every school out there, because they make you a successful person. And I feel like, just some closing comments that I wanted to say, like, as Michael said, like there are limitless opportunities for you from here in terms of the career pathways. I know people who had completely different backgrounds, non-technical backgrounds, who went into product management, AI product development, data, like, engineers, data scientists, analysts, like AI related consulting opportunities, like in compliance and governance, risk management. Like there are limitless opportunities. It's like a golden skill that you can keep, that can help you out in the near future.
Thank you so much, Omar. So that ends the panel discussion. I must thank each and every panelist. Thank you, Afisa. Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Omar, for providing so much wealth of information. I'm pretty sure most of the answers that the prospective students would have had is answered. And also, guys, if you have any questions, please write in the Q&A. They will be answered to you by now, or they will be answered soon. So thank you so much. And I would like to thank Bridget for hosting such a wonderful event so that everybody gets to understand what MMAI actually is. Thank you so much, Bridget, for that. And thank you. I would just hand it over to Bridget now.
Thanks, Manjunath, and thank you to our panel. That was really great. And thank you so much for all of your answers. And thanks everyone for joining. I'm just going to go back to the previous slide so that you can see the website. If you do want to get in touch, if you have any questions, please feel free to go to our website. You'll get in touch with our application advisor, Jennifer Mayer, and she's happy to help you through that process. Thank you again, Manjunath, Hafiza, Emmanuel, Michael, and Umar. It was great to see you. And I think we'll sign things off there. So have a great afternoon, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Nice seeing you again,
Thank you, everyone.
Bridget, Hafiza.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good day.
To everyone.